from Long Island, New York. Hi, Agnes. How are you doing?
You sound like you have a hiccup. How are you?
Is that the way it's going? It's coming
Yeah,
out like a hiccup, but yeah. Um,
it
we
was
we we might have
live
a
and
little
stuff.
too.
Yeah.
All right, but ladies and gentlemen, it's a snowy Friday. Wanted to start early because I've seen some delays in Wi-Fi, some delays in service here. So we want to start early because this is a really important topic. We're going to be talking about the brand new, recently come into effect Corporate Transparency Act that is both here in New York and federally. And so we have some information for LLCs, from business owners, that will affect their taxes, that will affect their filing, that will affect your business moving forward, and the reporting of your business moving forward. And we just wanted to talk to you about that. So this is Love, Death, and Taxes. Let's get started. Happy New Year again for those of you who are just coming up with us this year. I mean, this is our what, third? We've done a show every week, right?
Yes.
So this is like our third show this week. We've been having
Yes, we
an
have.
interesting
Yeah.
week, yeah. And
So
so it's a
it's the
matter
this
of
month. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. What is going on with you? What's going on with your clients? Are there any updates? Because you were telling me something before about a really amazing win that you had with one of your tax clients.
Yes, I'm waiting. That was it was wonderful. We celebrated $5 million reduced to one. That was outstanding for my client. I'm waiting for other offers to just for final acceptance until I have it in my hands. I don't want to brag about it, but it's a big one as well. Two of them actually. So there is things are moving slowly. I guess it is in a like what I'm hearing from the agents a lot of times. It's like this to do this. It's not in the best interest of government to settle, but at the same time, people who own a lot of money for a very long time, they are afraid. They are afraid to stick up their nose to do anything, and they are not processing with businesses. They are not doing what they usually be doing and paying taxes and going forward just because they drag in this large baggage with them that is ruining their business. So first in compromise I think it's the best resolution to go forward with that and to do this to process with that because it gives you a fresh start, and when you have fresh start you're more energized. You can go forward with your life and actually pay more taxes than when you are hiding and you're not paying anything. And majority of the times all those taxes, they grow in they triple, they quadruple in size because of the uh, penalties and interest. So it's, you know, whoever has any outstanding tax, don't sit on them. Just go forward. Just come forward and we will help you.
Yeah, that's the operative word. Like, take charge of this and get forward and get it done. Even the new Corporate Transparency Act that we're going to talk about. The thing you want to do is get out ahead of it and get it done. If you are an older business, you still have to file. If you're starting a new business, a new LLC this year, you still have to file. You have to register your business, get as much information in so that you're not getting charged $500 a day. That is the fine for not complying with this Corporate Transparency Act, which is a huge thing now. Um, you want to talk about, well, let me go through some of the very quick things that people need to know, right? That they need to know. And then we can talk about how it affects your filing, how it affects the businesses that you already have, businesses that you have moving forward, and then how those requirements can get in. I mean, it can affect the actual filing that you do if you haven't properly registered your business with FinCEN, this brand new Corporate Transparency Act. Well, okay, so it's a new federal requirement. It's for LLCs and corporations, right? And they're now required. Go ahead.
It's a new state. That it's a state, not federal. It's a state transparency.
What there's
It's a state
what
transparency, not federal.
it's a state. Well, what I heard was that you have to do both. You not only do you have to file with LLC here in the state, but you also have to now file it with FinCEN. That's what I was told. That
Yeah.
you also have to do that, right? All right. So
Hmm.
it's both things now. That's the thing. Like you have to do it in order to do this. And the requirement now goes into effect. This was passed in what 2023, 2022, but the requirement goes into effect on
Giving you a
as of
year.
yeah,
No, well, it's imposed. It's just being imposed. So they giving time to do this till January 1st, 2025. So you
right,
have less than a year to fix everything. And actually, I start getting emails for my clients as well as
right.
if, and myself, just to make sure that everything is there. So they are sending out. They're notifying everyone to do this. It doesn't matter if they did it or not. It's like, see, I was we were always joking that when if we win lottery, and no, I'm sorry, when we win the lottery, not if, when we win, we will open LLC, and this way no one will know who we are. That there will be no names, no names out there. It's very easy to do any type of transparency. You have to go through a company that has contact with the state and runs the when you're forming any kind of entity. You're sending emails, and they're looking if the name is not taken, if everything is properly done. They're doing the articles of organization for you. Everything is being set. Practically the owner of the company doesn't know much what's involved, they're taking care of publishing and everything. And you're receiving this huge binder with the seal and everything, and then you got the company. You are fully owner of the company. But you also can retain that particular company to be your registered agent. This way your name is never there exposed on a paper. It's never registered. And that company is, you pay them yearly. It's not a big amount of money. It used to be $149, $150 a year. And they are getting all the notices from the state. They are getting all the notifications. And if someone is looking who is the owner of the company, they will, when you're doing the public search, the company name appears as a registered agent. It's not going to be Ryan Williams. It's not going to be Agnes Amisano. It's going to be so and so company. So you can absolutely, you can stay under the radar. When you're filing taxes, you do have to, depending what type of company, you do have to give taxes your information. You cannot just say registered agent. But when it comes to transparency and public record, people won't see, and even state wouldn't see who is a real owner. So they're trying to prevent frauds and money laundering and things of that type. And they're saying it's not going to be public. Those informations, they will never be made public. But I will give 3 to 6 months and something will leak. some virus will be somewhere, and all the informations will be out. when I form my
Right.
company, I never sign up with a registered agent, and I never advised my clients whom I helped form companies. I never advised them to go take that route, just because, see, like, if God forbid any notices, anything like that, you're not around, you're not opening your mail, you don't have a good communication with the company, with the registered agent, everything is on a delay. When you are in charge of your own business, you're on the top of everything. You have all your notices, you have everything. If there is a problem, you can, the 30 days that they give you to answer, they actually might be enough. If you're dealing with
Right.
registered agent, different story. You're not the only client. There might be a delay and therefore more problems. So just from that
That's right.
context, from that point of view, I would never advise people go for it. But yes, whoever is the business owner is receiving an email right now where they have to go online and figure it out and put all the information. So just check that everything is correct. So
Right.
that's
Right.
all there is to it.
Right, right. It's a beneficial ownership information report that you have to file, in addition to your state filings, what you would normally file. And they're saying that this is now right. And you have to do it as of January 1st. Well, it's come into effect as of January 1st, like you said, and
Yeah,
it'll be a year. If you're an old company, it'll be a year. But if you're a new LLC, a new corporation, you have to file it in 90 days, they're saying.
yeah,
And then every day you have not filed it, there's a $500 a daily penalty and potential criminal charges. This is what they're saying. I heard that, Agnes. You're like, I can get
yes,
around that.
right.
Yeah, I know you're confident that you can help people no matter what, but I'm just going to tell them what it says, right? And this is,
Yeah.
you have to disclose anybody, any managers or individuals owning 25% or more of the particular entity. And it's going to be fired with FinCEN, Financial Crimes Enforcement Network.
Hmm.
And I think part of the reason why that is also is because they're saying, okay, we don't want certain people who have been deemed criminal or fraudulent to be a part of, to be, taking care of certain businesses. Because if there are people who are known to be financial criminals or fraudsters, that they don't want them to be, registered doing that. And so, yeah, we have to do that to them. And you're right. The purpose of the law is just, hey, we don't want to see rampant stuff. But when you can hide yourself behind a corporation like that, it is possible for you to do things that may be fraudulent and then take people's money. You don't want that, right? So they're saying they're combating money
Yeah.
laundering and criminal activities. Yeah.
Also, it helps with other situations like I had a couple clients where they were like, oh, okay, we file taxes every year and everything, but my old partner who is no longer here, he did this, he did that, he was in charge of this and in charge of that, but okay, they file taxes, but in taxes, with your taxes, those informations are not exactly being processed right away. And this is not like this other department with all the information is being notified that this something triggered while processing your taxes, that oops, some information changed there. So
Yes.
not too many people knows that they actually, if there's any change, if your address or directors or partners, there's a special form that has to be filed between couple of weeks of changes, couple of months of changes to that particular department. Everything is, each department have their roles. So not everything can go, oh, because we just tell our accountant and what he's going to do with that. I mean, if he's your retained accountant that represented you a whole year, they should know and they should
Yeah.
advise the client to do that, to file that particular tax. They, if it comes to outstanding taxes, they will go whoever is there. They will go after them, and say, okay, well, we want your bank account and everything else because you appear as owner of so and so. You have majority of shares or whatever. So it's like there's a lot of information that they appear to be, my goodness, they are brand new and what are we going to do about it? But this is just to protect taxpayer. That's the way
Yeah,
I'm looking at it. This is to
yeah,
protect taxpayer. Situations
yeah.
we were talking about scams and phone calls and everything else. That can be done like so easily if you do not know your rights, if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So education when it comes to that field, it's extremely important.
Extremely important. You're right. The report, the BOI report, is asking for personal information like your name, your address, your date of birth, and a government issued ID, like a copy of a government issued ID for anybody who's 25% owner or above, remote owners and managers. And while the filing fee in and of itself is free, I mean, clearly people always have problems like, oh, my government ID isn't ready, or it's expired, or what. Yeah, I can see the problems that some clients are going to be stumbling over for this kind of thing. Do you know about the exemptions? I hear there are specific exemptions, but I gotta look it up. Inactive entity exemption and the large entity exemption. So, ladies and gents, if you have an old entity, an old LLC that's just sitting around, you should probably close that down and make sure you're not dealing with it anymore, right? What else?
Well, now again, closing, it's not 1 2 3 either.
mm,
Closing, it's a process. Number one, if you have outstanding taxes, you have to deal with that, especially with the state taxes. Now you have to file final tax return, mark that this is final. And when is that
mhm,
received, which takes sometimes couple of months, then you have to send a money order and in a specific form for that particular type of business. And then you have to have the reason, the proper name. You have no idea how many times it's being kicked out for the wrong name, that ink is missing or end is missing or anything like that. And then you wait a couple months for the state permission to do that, because just having us inactive, there's a lot of people that they just walk away from the businesses and it's inactive, that there is possibility of reactivating. But yeah, when they have inactive businesses but they're not closed, they're still attached to them. They can be still
yes.
attached to them. So it's a lot of different things that
We have a question coming in.
when I was working on those things and I start finding out, because there's a lot of information, a lot of those little things that they are actually very important, they can be lost in translation. So
Um,
it's important to go through this.
Yeah, we have someone asking a question. Here it is. Will this now open up business owners to liabilities by piercing the corporate veil? And I guess what he means by the corporate veil is you weren't always able to tell what the person's name was, but now does that open that business owner to some other kind of liability?
Yes, but with only, see, this is the thing. They saying that those informations, they are not going to be public. They're going to be only with the state. So practically only for monitoring um, through the state, that they will be looking for information, who owns and what owns and all that. Because this is the thing. With, let's say, with LLC, you own a lot of money to people, right? And the business has
Okay.
no assets. You can walk away. They cannot go after you personally. They cannot sue you personally. So if there is a registered agent involved, no one knows who owns what, and no one can find out, then your outstanding liabilities and your bills untouched, right? Now, if they know exactly who you are, you know, that I'm sure there will be some attorney who's gonna, if there's a big thing involved, big liabilities involved, that they're gonna say, you know what? Okay, well, I want this person and that person, and that's something my wanted, but they are, but the policies are under. So I wouldn't read too much into it, because the rules are not being changed. Only the state, the government wants to know who owns, who is the
Yeah.
real owner. So I
Okay.
wouldn't read too much into it. I don't think the corporate world, at least until someone finds a way to do it, it's going to be affected by it,
Yes.
because no one is saying that they're changing corporate formation rules. They just asking, they just want to know who is who owns what, which is just fair. No
I
more
was
hiding.
thinking that too. I was definitely thinking that it doesn't so much change um, the formation of the company and the way it's just that they want to know who is
Yeah.
who and what's going on, and then to be able, I guess, to some extent say, okay, but it's the government who wants to know. And you're right, someone will hack into this and now everybody will know. But right now what they're trying to do is get information so that the government has this. All right, so we have another question here. Oh, well, go ahead if you want to,
Mhm.
you have something else to say. I have
Yeah.
this question.
Yeah. But like see, like a lot of um, celebrities, they own a lot of assets, but we don't know that they own them, right? So this is, again, public doesn't know. I'm sure that the government does.
Yes, yes, or can find out in
Are
some
they
way, shape.
operating under LLC name or other company name? So this is, we cannot, yeah, we cannot confuse things. If this is only for transparency, that's what is said now. This is only for transparency for the government dealings. Then it is what it is, right? But as long it
Right.
does not, we are still protected in a lot of ways under the formation of the company itself. So,
Okay.
okay, is
All
there
right.
an
Great.
advantage for
So
purchasing an aged shell
corporation. So I guess the
corporation?
the question, is
Personally, I would
basically,
advise that. Um,
okay.
Again, if you're buying it for the name of it, for the reputation, then that's, go for it, because it's established, it's 20, 30 years experience, history, and all that. And if that's the reason for doing that, for I don't know, company that makes products that they are being very famous or well known, and that's why you're buying it. So it's easy. It's easy to do that. Just make sure that all the informations are being changed, so you are not being pulled, the new owner is not being pulled into liabilities of their old owners. There is a way to do it. There
Right.
is a way to do
I,
it.
excellent. I think my question is, well, my question is, my follow up is there a reason why someone would want to have a business that says, okay, it's been
You're breaking up.
exactly would that
Yeah.
be? I hear you. So how exactly would that be beneficial if it's been in business for 5 years or 10? Is there some sort of benefit to that? I mean, for example, I know some grants are given to businesses that have lasted longer, but if the corporation has no records
No,
or
I don't see that as a reason. I, I don't, I really, the only reason that I personally I would go after existing corporation is maybe for the credits, or for the quality of work that they're being known, for the reputation, anything like that. So you kind of walking into somebody's shoes, and you walking their path because that's what you want to do, and not struggling to open. to have your name be known. Like let's say
Right.
another Agnes Amisano will try to do what I'm doing, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah. I remember when this guy bought the Twinkies Corporation. Remember the Twinkies and the
yeah,
Hostess was going out of business, and that's a great brand. It's an iconic brand. Nobody really cares that it's a Hostess, but it would be preferable for a lot of
who is
people who
running
don't
it?
follow. Yeah, who don't follow business news, who don't that they still see the same name, the same brand, everything on the box. So yeah, I can see that making sense. But if it's just for some other kind of tax thing, then I'm not too sure. Um, uh,
Tax issues, I don't see it. The tax benefits from buying an existing business, I really don't see that like personal for a new owner. A lot of people, what they do, they let's say law firms, they call somebody else's clients. To that's possibility. Not taking over the business, but they will take over the cases, then they will take over the clients. So that's one. I noticed with landscaping companies, there's a new company comes in, either they are buying off the whole company, but just because sometimes there could be some liabilities, hidden liabilities of the clients. So different ways of taking over a business, somebody's business. You can have new company, new name for a start, and you continue with the same clients, somebody else's clients, because you bought them off. Doesn't mean that you have to buy a name per se, because again,
yeah,
with a regular business, I wouldn't do it myself because maybe I so too much, and I'll be always thinking there might be somewhere some hidden liabilities under the
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that you
having
don't know.
title company you hire. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was thinking you
To
don't know what you don't know, right? So who knows
exactly.
what kind of relationship they had with the previous clients, with the previous, tax situation, whatever it was. Now you have people coming in and you're like, okay, who are you? And they're like, well, you're the owner of this corporation and we did so and so and so in 1975 and it's your
Again,
fault.
yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Again, there
yeah.
is a way to avoid those kind of problems. That could
Mhm.
be somewhere an ex-wife or ex-husband who had in a divorce agreement that they have a part of this percentage of that, it's like of the company without a claw that that's not going to happen. If someone else will buy it, there are different situations in life that I run into. So um, be
Let's see.
careful. Just be careful. If you decide to do that, hire someone to do a thorough check. If there is there's nothing hidden there, no liabilities hidden.
Another
Corporate
question
world
came
is
up.
tricky.
Yes, it is. It is, isn't it? This guy came up with this question. Shouldn't they already know who you are when you file the LLC? So I guess what he's asking is, why are we providing this additional information? And I guess you already answered that in a way because you're saying that there are many corporations that don't file the full
Nothing there.
information, right?
Yeah, but there's one person can open. Like you will see that wherever I am involved in opening a company for somebody else, right? My name's going to be somewhere, not as an owner, but a person who helped
Mhm.
to
Right,
organize everything. So you
right,
will see
right.
my little print somewhere. I'm going to stay there. Now you can ask the company that, like I was saying, hire them to be a registered agent. There are companies that they represent you as a registered agent and they appear as a registered agent without having the name exactly spelled out. So you file one thing, but on a record, everything appears the company name. So you can hide your true identity, actually, who is a real owner, especially with LLC. You have to be very careful. Now there's for a very long time you have one member ownership. It could be two members, there could be three members. They can be split equally. They don't have to. And a lot of times they just have an agreement amongst each other, and for tax purposes they will get K1, and like they will get, okay, this is what I'm getting this time. Government is not exactly involved in taxes itself, that they're looking, excuse me, who's who file which schedule.
Right. And literally, it could be a family business, and people within the
So
family decide to
they
split it
just
up
want to
too,
have that,
right?
I guess, for that reason. And yeah, yeah. But there's a lot of shell companies that they're just there for a certain purpose. They're not exactly active for something inactive. You don't have to, you can open a bank account at the bank. They won't ask you, did you file taxes? Can I see your taxes?
Hmm.
They won't do that. They might ask every 5 to 7 years from the state, what you call this, oh my goodness, good standing, good standing,
Right.
uh, look at me, I forgot the name, good standing report, to get that from the state. You
Okay.
get that for $5, and you provide it, but that just shows that you didn't break any laws. But they
Okay.
want to prevent to something like that, because specifically they're looking for to prevent fraud and money laundering, because under the company, you can open a company, you have a tax ID number, you go to the bank, you open an account, you give them all the information from the state, they open an account with the company name, and you can do different things if you're up to it. Now that will prevent from doing that.
Do you think that part of the
That
reason
the
why
Transparency Act prevent people from doing so.
that's
They
what
they
we're
will
doing
have
that?
to have their names.
Okay. From a
Yeah, I
banking
think
perspective.
banking might be affected by.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying.
I
There seems to be a compliance that they're requiring to maintain banking relationships. If at some point you've got a bad banking relationship as a person, and then you also have one as this business, but you're hidden beneath the business, then the bank can change up things and come after you. Very interesting, because it means that not so much that you're exposing yourself, but you definitely, the relationships between different entities can be changed simply because now they know that company name is also Ryan, and Ryan is also company, and so maybe they can change that relationship, or at least determine that they want to change that relationship. That's very interesting. And the last thing I see here is that the changes in the ownership, management, or personal information changes must be reported within 90 days. So as soon as anything changes, as far as these people are concerned, even their address, right? We now have to update information and put it in within 90 days. That's a tall order. I think there might be some people who
well,
who have difficulties with this. Yes.
but see, that was actually a law to update
Mhm.
all the changes, especially with the state I was telling you about. Like it, the regular person doesn't know. So as CPAs, they should be reminding them. Just like there was a form that, oh, when you hire and you hire, you advise state, and no one really did been doing that there is new person, there you go. So this way, if let's say I will hire a Joe Schmo, and he owns a lot of child support, and I'm sending a new hire form to the state. Now the state knows where to find him or find his paycheck and take
Mm.
money to pay his ex-wife for child support. Now a lot of people doesn't do that. The same thing with the names and addresses, all the changes, who is no longer, because government cannot tell you who you want to do business with. If you have three partners and you decide to drop one, and there was a vote and whatever, for whatever reason, maybe you just had enough and you want to go different ways, you have a right to do that, right?
Right.
Now you have to fill out a particular form that changes took place. And what they do, they're not saying yes, you cannot, no, you have to be stuck with that person. They just simply say, okay, thank you very much, and they change all the records. It's easy, but not too many people follow. So maybe this will force kind of everyone to do so.
I know, I know. That's the tough part. And then the fines seem to be, I mean, they could be retroactive. I mean, when you finally tell someone, tell the government, oh, this has happened on such and such a date, but you're telling them beyond the 90 days of when it actually happened, you might be looking at those fines coming in, right? Is that possible?
Absolutely, absolutely. Just like if someone will tell you like I keep telling you about this form of the stage to file, they will accept the changes from the date when you file.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be like, okay, it was 3 years ago, but I
Okay.
forgot to tell you. It's nothing like
Yeah.
that. I mean, if there are some extreme circumstances, I'm sure that everything will be taken under consideration. But we all know that they're giving us a lot of time to do so. The form is not that big.
Right.
Really, trust me, it's not that long. Just
Yeah.
do it. Just do it. Get it over with. Take the 5 minutes of your time and do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't seem to be a large form. It
No,
just requests like personal information, and then that government ID, taking a picture of that and making sure that that is up to date and getting that in there. So that might be part of it. So it's January, and I know in 10 days, it's January 19 right now. I know in 10 days they open up tax filing, like on the 29th, right, Agnes? You have any advice for people this year for
yay!
2024? You're like, yay! You have any advice?
Okay, I made a list and
Oh, you did. And checking it twice. Go ahead.
checking it twice. So, yes. Number one, decide who's going to do your taxes. So this way, and get all your information in order. Make sure you have all the 1099s, you have W-2s, you have all the dividends and interests and everything else that you pay in order. So all the winnings, all the casino winnings, come on, people, pull them out.
Yeah. All the winnings.
So that you have everything so that max up your retirement contributions. You don't have to do it at the time when you're filing your taxes. This way you get the best rate for yourself. For let me see, for 2023 was for IRA $6,500 and the $1,000 to catch up if you're over 50. For 2024 will be 7,000 plus 1,000 to catch up, so you can max up that way. For 401ks for 2023 was 20,500, 22,500 for 2024. So see how much you already deposited. There is any room that you can actually put that there, so that will affect your deductions. Of course, all the RMDs that require minimum distributions. If you're over 72, you have to take accounts. If you don't do that, it's really silly because the penalties are exceeding any kind of benefit. So please just take the money from your account. If you have nothing to do with them, we will do something. We'll find charitable contributions for you. We will donate them for you if you have that problem. uh, and also don't ignore any notices. If you have any notices, please go over them, call them, make arrangements. You can make very easy arrangement by yourself online. You don't have to even call anybody. If you own less than $10,000, don't wait. Don't allow those penalties
Okay.
and interest to pile up, because it's really a killer. It's really a killer. And just remember that if you're filing marriage separate, both have you have to either itemize or file separately. file standard deductions. Cannot be one this way, one that way. So think about those things. If someone is, if your husband and wife and one is contributing 10% or less to the household, you can actually claim head of the household status, which is the most of the deductions allowed, which is for this year, it's 20,800. Um, you know, those little things are important.
Little things. She just reeled them off like that. Little things, not a big deal.
So
We
are
all
you
know
ready,
them.
Ryan?
I'm still putting everything together. But well, we've got, like I say, we've got 10 days before it actually opens. And then, you can get it done as soon as possible. Yeah, that's something I want to take care of right early this year. I actually do. What part of the reason why I was talking about this, I was hoping to open a new LLC this year. So we'll see what I'll do about that, because it's nice to have a nice, fresh, clean start as you're moving forward. You're doing different things. And there are lots of things changed this year for me personally. I know for everybody in general. So yes, go ahead. You were going to ask something.
And yes, and don't forget that when you have a new LLC for the last, I think, 2 or 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit more, you need to file operating agreement with all your documentations for the bank. So
Okay.
they also want operating agreement, which they didn't ask for before, but now they do. So
Right. So that's part of this new thing. Great. That's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been really informative, eye-opening. I think I hope you're taking this all to heart. It is not that big. If you have a corporation that existed before 2024, you have the year. You have the year to get this BOI, beneficial ownership information in. If you are starting a new LLC or corporation this year, you have 90 days to get the beneficial information in. Please do that, so you're not getting $500 a day fines. That is crazy. Nobody wants to see that, and nobody wants to have you have that. And if you do not know what to do, where to go, you're pulling your hair out, or you're like me, you're shining the top of your head, this is where you go to nytaxresolutions.com and you check out Agnes, because Agnes can help you with your business information. She is a tax resolution specialist and will take care of you over there. Okay, so that's where you want to go. If you want to send something to the show, you want to send it to mailbag@lovedeathandtaxes.com so that we can get your questions. We had some really great questions today. I want to thank you, listeners, for
yes,
posting those up and for asking those. That was great. And so I hope you take this all into account. And I hope you guys will see you next week. Agnes, do you have any things you'd like to close out with? Let everybody know.
stay warm. Don't go out anywhere. Cancel your appointment for tomorrow morning. Stay home in bed under the blanket. Drink alcohol and be safe out there.
All right. Very well, ladies and gents. Thank you so very much for listening. This has been another episode of Love, Death, and Taxes. You can check it out at loveanddeathandtaxes.com, or go check out a Facebook page check it out on YouTube at youtube.com/at Love, Death, and Taxes. But you can also hear this on any podcast platform that you use. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts. You can check those out and listen to it in any one of those places. I hope you have a great year. I hope you have a great tax season. You guys have a great evening. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Agnes.